Welcome back to the episode 2 of the Firing Squad podcast. My name is Ashton Alcock. I'm here with Jake Cardinell, Liam Cannon, and in our booth today behind is Justin Alter.
What's up, y'all?
You'll see him kind of right above Jake's head. Today we got some topics we got to talk about, some teams, some leagues, some things, some plays that happened. There's some questionable plays, especially if you're from Miami. You know what I'm talking about. Especially if you go to that college. Let's kind of start off with a little bit of the NFL. This week was a little, not really hectic, but a little questioning. Before he goes into what he wants to say, I heard him raging on Sunday night about the Packers, or Monday night about the Packers losing.
The funny part is, I was not going to bring that up yet. I was going to talk to you. What the hell happened with the Patriots against the Cowboys?
72-3 in 2 games.
Well, the Cowboys was week 4, and we've been outscored 72-3. And I can officially say this, and you guys are my witnesses, Justin, even though he can't physically see me in person.
I'm literally looking at a flat screen with you here. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I can see more. I can
see
see
here with their ears what I'm about to say. And what I'm about to say, if I said this in New England, could get me scolded. Well, technically we already know in Connecticut.
Get killed.
But as a Patriots fan growing up, I used to watch Bill Belichick and Tom Brady win multiple Super Bowls, and I've gotten to witness multiple AFC Championship appearances. I've been seen multiple playoff wins.
And the Tuck rule. And the Tuck rule.
I was alive for that. I was not old enough to kind of pay attention. I was only like 3-4 months old by the time that play happened, so I couldn't speak on that point. But I was able to see from 2011 till now, and I can see the turmoil. Here's the thing. Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. I'll single-handedly say this, and I can agree with this. He will break Shula's record at some point in time when, I don't know, but in the next 5 years, he will break that record, and then he'll retire. I'm going to say this strong-heartedly, straight face. I will stare at camera 2 while saying this. At the end of the season, Bill Belichick will not only be fired as GM of the New England Patriots, but will be fired as the head coach of the New England Patriots, which is kind of surprising coming from a Patriots fan saying that.
Very surprising.
His seat is so hot right now. I could not be surprised if he told me he was fired tomorrow. I would not be surprised. If they have another bad outing against the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday at 4:05, I will expect to probably see a chance that Belichick's fired next week. I would not be surprised. And who's their replacement? Is a former New England Patriot linebacker, Patriot legend, Gerard Mayo.
If they do fire him in season, that will be the guy. But
I mean, okay, hold on. I want to give my take on that.
Yes.
Isn't your defensive coordinator Gerard Mayo?
Yeah. No, we don't have a defensive
Yeah,
coordinator.
it's a mixture. It's
It's
between.
him.
Kid, right?
It's Bill.
Steve
It's
Belichick.
Bill, his son Steven, and Gerard Mayo. The only issue
Yeah, you
is,
see, but what I'm saying, here's what I want to tell you though. They haven't been efficient on defense. To me, that
Well, here's
doesn't
the thing.
look.
The defense
That
is
doesn't
not
look
the
good
issue.
for
I'm
him.
gonna be honest. The defense hasn't been issues. Yes, we have a ton of injuries. We lost Christian Gonzalez. You lost Judon. But the thing is, I don't think it's the defense's fault. I think it's solely on the offense, and I'm not blaming Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien doesn't have the pieces. He doesn't have the pieces he needs to succeed.
So
And
I think
that-
it should be Bill O'Brien then as the
No.
head coach. I don't think Gerard Mayo would work.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. Most of the people on this staff are here because of Belichick, and if Belichick gets fired, they're probably gonna leave. So I do expect them to end up hiring outside other than maybe Bill O'Brien, because Bill O'Brien, I think, actually wants to be the head coach of New England. He loves it here in New England. I personally want Bill O'Brien to be the next head coach of the New England Patriots. He's a very hard-nosed coach. He knows how to make an offense for this generation of talent and what this NFL offense is these days. But it's getting to the point where Kraft needs to do something. And I read a report yesterday. He's not just infuriated. He is heated. He's not just angry. He's so pissed that he wants to win. This year, he said it will be a disappointment if we don't even make the playoffs. And at the rate we're at a chance of getting the number 1 overall pick, which shoots in his head. And he already said, and Kraft said that Bill Belichick is not unfireable. He can be fired, and he will fire him in a heartbeat if he had to. Anything to make this team a championship team. And go on to even more, if you want me to expand. Juju Smith-Schuster was the biggest flop ever in Patriots history of signing players. We signed players.
is Juju doing?
He is single-handedly the worst receiver I've ever seen play in New England. And we had a guy in 2006, I can't even remember his name right on top of my head right now. Because guess what? There was nobody on our roster in 2006, but still managed to play better than Juju Smith-Schuster. And don't get me on Mac. I had faith in Mac. First 3 games, he looked great. And then he fell off a cliff. He cannot read a defense anymore. What happened? Where did that come from? And no one, I hear pictures, well, I don't think it's Bill O'Brien. No, it's not Bill O'Brien. It's clearly Mac Jones not doing his job. Yes, I won't fully blame Mac Jones from Sunday's loss against the Saints because that was clearly the O-line. There's a picture of Mac looking like he just got chased by a slasher from a slasher movie like Scream or Michael Myers. This man had the most scared face throwing this ball. I'm going to say this right now. The Patriots season is over. And if you're any Patriots fan that has any hope in winning the season, making the playoffs, we're max winning 6 games. I've kind of marked down the games we'll probably win, and I can still see us losing half the games. There's 2 games I think we'll guaranteed win, and that's just because we have Zach Wilson's number. Their defense is going to hold us to probably 10 points. We're going to hold them to 3 because Zach Wilson won't be able to put the ball in the end zone for some weird reason against New England. He chokes. And then the Giants because the Giants are goddamn awful.
Oh, yeah.
Those are 2 I'm rating definite wins. We have a win this week, possibility. The Commanders, the Colts, the Chargers is even a possibility because Chargers struggle against New England. Denver, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and Ashton, I gotta ask you something now.
Yes.
And this is a serious
Ask
question.
me seriously.
So I
you
am asking
sure?
you seriously. So
Are you sure?
Are you sure about that?
yeah, okay.
I doubt that.
I have 2 wins on our books.
So here's what I want to ask you. So you're saying Belichick should be fired,
Yes.
but you just listed off some people that have been a problem that's not on coaching. Mac Jones,
But
Juju
here's the thing.
Smith-Schuster. What I'm saying is,
It's
is
not-
would you give Bill Belichick one more year
No.
if maybe they like get a good quarterback, if they get a good wide receiver?
I think.
Here's the thing. I don't
Why don't they
trust
use Demario
Bill.
Douglas?
I don't trust Bill.
Keyshawn
Yeah,
Booth.
Demario Douglas is really good. He plays about 18 snaps a game. Out of the 100% snaps, he plays about 2. Butte, he should play. Here's the thing. I think at this rate, bench Bourne, bench Juju, play Butte, Thornton, Parker, and Douglas. Once Douglas gets off the concussion protocol, you play them. You see what you got in them, right? Parker's been fine. Your tight ends have been fine. Your running backs would be fine if you had competent O-line.
they had
But here's the
running
thing.
holes.
Bill Belichick, I was about to blame Bill O'Brien. No offense to you, Bill O'Brien. I'm sorry. Bill Belichick does not know how to build a team. He's building like we're playing in the early 2000s. This team would win in the early
Here-
2000s because you can play as basic as possible and you would win games. You can rely on your run game. But here's the thing. There's a saying called making chicken salad out of chicken shit. That's what Tom Brady would do. The players that Tom Brady would have around him, other than like the last few years in New England, but in 2006, he made chicken salad out of chicken shit. The statement is basically mean you basically have nothing and you're making
I
something out
got
of
the
it.
same. I'm just
Right?
questioning why you
Yeah.
said it.
Because
to me,
I heard
that
this.
was the
You
whole-
want to know why? You know who I heard this from? Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee.
I love that.
His show
Oh, yeah,
has
same.
said that, and I'll give him credit because guess what? Brady made all the mistakes that Bill made drafting and all that stuff, bringing in pieces in. He savored that. Yes, it was they worked together hand in hand. Their success are 50-50 because Belichick's defense and Brady's offense. Once Brady left, we still had Belichick's defense, but we had no offense or like no minded to the offense. We had Cam Newton who sucked. We had Mac Jones, his rookie year was phenomenal. He played great as a rookie. And then last year happened. That debacle with Matt Patricia.
Just use Bailey Zappi.
No.
Use
Zapp-
Bailey
yes.
Zappi. That's my
Zappi's
go.
not
Give it
good
a
either. Zappy
Bailey's
played this
him.
year. He looked worse than Mac. He managed to make Mac look like a competent quarterback in the league.
He is not worse than Mac.
No, he's way worse.
He is the greatest quarterback of all time, and you know it.
No, he's not.
Yes,
I
he
will
is.
literally single-handedly say this. I watch Patriots games every year.
Yeah, I know,
Bailey
and
Zappi
yeah, I know.
Looked like the
And
you know
Bailey
why he
Zappi's
looked
obviously
last year?
great.
Because it was so basic that he.
I think you're
looked
scared to admit that Bailey Zappi's good.
You want to know who I want the Patriots to start quarterback this week?
Bailey Zappi.
Malik Cunningham. Malik Cunningham should be
I'm not
the starting
surprised.
quarterback this week. But nope, it's going to be Mac Jones.
No, it's gonna be Bailey Zappi.
No. Shut
How
the
about
fuck
your
up, Justin. Let me talk.
How about the kicker?
You've been talking for 15 minutes. What do you mean let you talk?
Let me
Listen,
rant.
let the poor guy cook.
This is the Patriots, and I heard on Nico's show, cut Zappy, cut Will Greer, sign Malik Cunningham, because if Mac Jones sucks, you start Cunningham, and then there's no question about it. And I'm gonna change the subject now. Enough Patriots talk.
Here,
Let's talk about Denver Broncos.
I have one more
No,
thing. I have
okay.
one more thing
You
on the
have one more
Patriots.
thing?
When it comes to firing him, obviously that's up to Robert Kraft. I think he's sitting at his desk and he wants to do it, but then he glances over to his little case and he sees his 6 rings. Like, ooh, I don't know. But so I think he's on the fence. But yes, well, let's get to the Denver Broncos.
Let's switch to a little topic. Let's keep in the NFL. Let's talk about Denver Broncos because Sean Payton did talk a
Jake,
lot.
Jake, I know you have a lot
He's
to
got
say
a
right
lot
now.
to say.
So, Jake, public disclaimer: I have an ISO for you right now
Okay.
on camera 1.
Okay.
I'm going to need you to be. You can do a little bit of profanity. I know you have a lot about Sean Payne, but please try to keep this PG-13.
I will.
Before we
I
This-
put
promise.
this
I
to
promise.
Jake,
I do not want
let's
this to
get
look like
Liam's
one of your
topic
Twitter
on
posts,
it.
Jake.
Let's get
They will
Liam's
not, I
talk
promise.
on this topic prior to us getting to Jake's rant.
Gotcha. Let's
Yep,
go.
Let's go.
So
All right.
Denver played the New York Jets this week, and over the offseason, we heard Sean Payton talk Rager smack about your former offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett.
Mm-hmm.
What has that made you feel? Hearing that and then seeing what happened over the weekend with Sean Payton, do you think Sean Payton needs to learn to shut up, or do you think he needs to just keep his talk private?
I would say for both. Shut the fuck up. And let my former offensive coordinator cook and keep this shit to himself.
All right, but here's the thing: Nathaniel Hackett has not produced a good offense in New York.
I
So,
know.
do you think that is carrying over from Denver, and Sean Payton and whatever he left is carrying to Sean Payton's team, or do you think it's just a whole debacle with that team and it's not Sean Payton's team, and Nathaniel Hackett kind of screwed that team over and is now currently screwing the Jets over, or
I would say it's somewhat both.
both?
Because, hey, your offensive coordinator ain't that shit because he keeps putting Wilson in. And so we're looking for
But who are
another.
you starting? Are you gonna start Jarrett Stidham,
I would say,
a perennial backup in both New England and Las Vegas?
put your backup in for now. See how he does. And try and find and trade for a better quarterback for the rest of your season.
Who will be available? Who do you think? Because Kirk Cousins is available, but there's
No,
only
the
very
Vikings-
slight few teams interested.
I don't think they would trade him.
But I
No,
don't
I
think
doubt
they're
the
gonna go
Vikings
for
will
him.
trade Cousins.
Well, he's on the trade block, so they're looking to trade him, see what they could get, possibly. Not saying they will trade him.
No.
But the thing is, you put in so much money and effort into Russell Wilson that you're probably gonna stay. And
The Broncos are keeping Russell.
here's
The
No,
thing
I'll
is,
take it on
even
that
though
contract.
Kurt is on a trading block, but what does the Jets have to offer to trade for Kurt?
They could
That's
probably
my-
give him. I'm not sure if they would take a look at Zach. I'm not sure if they would.
well, because here's
I
the thing.
doubt
I
the
think Minnesota
Vikings
is gonna
will
look
take
at
Zach.
tank right now because
they
they're
probably
already,
want draft picks.
they're already
to be
week
honest.
5. It's already week 5. They're 1-4, and they're in the same spot as
Yeah.
New England. I think
Just
both
see-
teams
Oh,
have
no,
the same
wait.
idea as tanking. And if I'm the Vikings,
Why don't we give the 2 Jets fans here maybe some time
Before
to
I do go to Jake, I'm going to go to you, Justin, and I want to talk more about the Jets with
Sir,
you
yes,
too.
sir.
So obviously he has his honest opinion about Sean Payton, which we'll get into in probably in about a minute or two. So what seems to be the issue with your New York Jets? Yes, you just won against Denver, but Denver is also a very terrible team.
Very bad.
That
Yeah.
defense is awful. The offense doesn't seem to cook, especially since it's let's ride, right? Is the whole statement.
Like-
So Justin, what do you think your Jets need to fix going to the rest of the season now sitting at 2-3, third in the AFC East, to fight for and vie for a playoff spot, especially with Buffalo and Miami being ahead of you?
There's just the big factor that everybody seems to forget, that the player who is completely supposed to turn this team around in Aaron Rodgers was not here, got hurt in the first 4 plays of his Jets career.
But isn't it supposed to be next man up, right? So you're supposed to prepare if just in case career.
Well, yeah,
injuries
you're
happen.
supposed to. Well,
Yeah.
yes, you are supposed to prepare, and that is where I blame good Joe Douglas. I've said this to other people before, off Sweet, I don't look at Robert Saleh and I don't think he's the problem. The defense has been better than it has ever been before, and that is because of Robert Saleh. To go into the locker room and to hype up these players who are down on their luck after getting blown out by teams and after losing close games and having your best player in years, your best quarterback in years get hurt for the rest of the season. You talk to them in the locker room and have them and make sure they win games. Look, 2-3 is not bad for them. The Broncos was a must-win game. It really was, because it was so simple and they completed that. Do I think they beat the Eagles next week? I doubt it. But the defense will give them a run for their money. The other problem is that the Eagles have a great defense as well. I am looking at Joe Douglas and I am saying that he is the problem because outside of Garrett Wilson, outside of Breece Hall, outside of Sauce, the Zach Wilson pick might go down as one of the biggest busts in NFL history for what he was supposed to be. And when and now Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, what do? You need to straighten up and fly right. You need to learn to adapt. What happened was when Matt Ryan called, who went to the Super Bowl, he didn't win, but he went to the Super Bowl at least. When Carson Wentz called, who was a big part to that team going to the Super Bowl. When they call saying, hey, I want to play for your team, not the other way around. It's not Joe Douglas calling them. It's the players calling him. I want to play for the New York Jets. You hang up the phone. That's Joe Douglas's fault.
So let me ask you.
He can't adapt.
So you guys are playing the Eagles this week, which is the best team in the NFC, one of the best teams in the NFC, one of the teams that are undefeated. Do you look at the games like New England Week 1 and use a similar game plan that New England had on defense to slow down Jalen Hurts and then hope to have a basic offense for Zach Wilson to score you points? Or do you just not trust Zach Wilson in your offense at all?
I'm going to say this and this is going to be very unpopular to all Jets fans. Zach Wilson has not been good at all. But against the Chiefs, he played very well. And against the Broncos, he also played well. He had some great throws, a little bit of threading the needle. He read the defense well, and look, I know the defense is not good at all outside of Surtain for the Broncos, but last year that would have been picked off easily. It would have been an easy pick. And I know he didn't have a touchdown recorded that game, but he had one pick recorded, which was mainly Garrett Wilson bumping it off his elbow and into the Broncos' hands, which I don't count on the stat card, by the way. I think if the receiver drops it and it gets picked off, that should be on the receiver. But he performed well against Kansas City. He performed well against the Broncos. If he has a really good performance, if he has a Chiefs level performance against the Eagles, I think it's time for us to have a conversation of if we...
Is that when you look into trading or signing a free agent quarterback?
No.
Or do you just say...
What I'm saying is this the point to where maybe we say, okay, he's improving. Maybe we start talking about... May we slowly begin to talk about if maybe not the future, but is he a competent quarterback and competent enough to maybe be a QB2? Because he has been improving to his respect, not just on the field, but on a maturity level off the field. He has improved immensely, and that's something to where you got to give credit where credit is due, no matter who the person is. Zach Wilson is not this horrible person. He's just an asshole. That's all it is.
Let me ask you. So if he comes out against Philly, you guys get smacked because your defense is too tired. Zach Wilson looks horrible. What is your next move? Do you plan on just tanking the rest of the season, or do you call a team like Minnesota about Kirk Cousins, or a team that has a solid backup quarterback? Maybe even the Chargers about Max Duggan.
Hold on a second. Did you just mention Max Duggan? Did you just mention my boy?
Max Duggan.
I love Max Duggan. I take Max Duggan immediately. I love Max Duggan.
What's your next move? Are you guys tanking, or are you guys trying to find a guy that could probably maybe play a little bit better than Zach keep you in some games, maybe win you some games, and try to vie for a playoff spot. Because 2-4 does not sound like a great record to go to the playoffs with. It can happen. You would have to win a lot more games. You need to get on that win streak. Because I look at go back to Patriots in 2021, they were at 2-4 at one point. Then they went on a 6-game or 8-game win streak. It was 8-game win streak, and then we kind of lost a few games towards the end. Or 6 games. But like, if you guys go on a run like that, then it looks promising. Can you do that with Zach Wilson?
You cannot.
So to answer your question about what to do
Yes.
if they get absolutely schlumped by the Eagles,
Yes.
so I'm not anti-tanking, but the problem is this team is too good to tank.
But what if you
this-
guys get a good enough pick where you can get like a Bo Nix? Or
Well,
a Shedeur
then
Sanders?
that's fine. That's fine. If we get that without tanking, that's fine. My outlook on it is not even go for Kirk Cousins. It's give one of these quarterbacks a chance who was drafted this year, who is not a starter. Let's all remember, if he didn't get hurt, Hendon Hooker probably would be with the Colts right now. Hendon Hooker would not be a second round pick. He probably Anthony Richardson would probably be playing for a different team at this rate. And because Hendon Hooker was very, very good in Tennessee, I would give him a shot. Max Duggan, everyone knows how I feel about Max Duggan. I fucking love Max Duggan. Give that kid a shot. Give some of these kids who have looked good in college, give them a chance to shine on a very young Jets team to where their only way to go is up.
Mhm.
That's how I look at it.
All right. So Justin gave his points. So Jake, I know you have a
Your
lot
ISO
to
is your
say.
ISO will be
Yeah.
ready
Your
for you,
ISO
Jake.
will be
Alright,
ready in a
alright.
second for you. I do got a couple questions I do want you
Yep.
to solely answer.
Let's go,
For
let's go.
me, I want to ask you more about the Jets before we get into your Sean Payton rant that
Jake,
is going to
they
happen.
suck.
So we just heard Justin, and I know you're not a huge Robert Saleh guy. I know you're not a big fan of him. You don't really think he's the guy. Well, Justin does, but obviously everyone's down to their own opinions. But you guys get slumped this week. You get obliterated on. I don't know if you guys are playing national.
It's
television.
425.
425. So you're kind of in that prime setting of games. You're kind of where most people are going to see you. Majority of the country is going to
Yeah.
see you. New England, those couple other games. You guys get slumped. What's your next move? You're 2-4 now. You're vying at 3, maybe tied for 4. You're in last place if New England wins. What are you guys doing?
Well, tanking is off the table. I don't care what anybody says. That's definitely off the table. First of all,
You should.
No, we should not. Our quarterback is not Jordan Love, who sucks, by the way.
It's okay.
No, he's not. He's god awful. In fact, I think I'm better than Jordan Love. But that's what I was saying. No, you cannot tank. This team is too good to tank. I'm tired of seeing the Jets tank now. Off the table. What you do if Zach Wilson goes out there and he has one of his awful games, I think you call Cressy, whatever his name is, the GM of the Vikings, and say, what's the price for Kirk Cousins? Because then you have two options. One, because at that point, if Zach Wilson's confidence is going to be gone, his career is probably going to be over. You have two options if they lose like 40-7 to the Eagles. You either call Kirk Cousins, because the Vikings season is done like my dinner is going to be later, and you trade for Kirk Cousins and see what happens. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the draft picks. I don't care.
I know you mentioned Gardner Minshew, who seems like he's
I
already
would take
off
him
the
as well.
table.
I would.
It seems like he's off the table
Probably
with how
because
long.
he's
It looks like
got
8
start
weeks
for
for
a month.
Anthony Richardson.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't start Sam Ellinger on that team.
No. Yeah.
Um,
But yeah.
So what's your other options? Say Kirk is now off the table. Let's say the asking price is way too much. Say it's like 3 or 4 first round picks. They somehow go outrageous with him.
I don't
And-
think I can't imagine they would ask for
Oh,
three
no.
first-round picks.
No, but let's say it's some outrageous price that Jets are not willing to pay. Because you already did just give up a little bit just to get Aaron Rodgers, and now he's out. Well, let's say it's a few picks. It's like maybe a first, and then maybe it's like a second, and maybe like a third, and like a solid role player. Like maybe a McCole Hardman, who's now on the trade block for you guys. If that's too much to ask for Joe Douglas, what's your next move?
My next move, I'd probably call the Colts and see about Gardner Minshew, but like we just said, they're probably not going to move him because Minshew has to start for them for a month, and all of a sudden the Colts might have a shot at making the playoffs. Then I'd probably call back Carson Wentz and see if you can get him in there.
Do you look at maybe a guy like Malik Willis and giving him
No.
a shot? because he has very little playing time, and we saw this with Jordan Love, where we couldn't make a full judgment on him because he only played a select few games. Now we're seeing the bigger picture. What if you guys do get Malik and he comes out and he balls?
Malik Willis?
Yes.
No.
What if
No.
he comes
No,
out and
the,
he
the, the
balls?
QB room in the
Tennessee
Titans
awful.
is horrible. If it's not Ryan Tannehill, it's Malik Willis. If it's not Malik Willis, it's Will Levis.
Well, Will Levis you can't make a full judgment on until you see because he's also a rookie.
A guy that puts mayonnaise
Look
in his
at Bryce
coffee, I don't
Young.
trust with
Look
anything.
at Bryce Young. Bryce Young, people
Well,
are
Bryce
running
Young's a
off,
rookie.
but everyone's running him off as a bust. You can't say that about Will Levis either.
Well, those people are stupid.
Well, you can't also say that about Will Levis. We also have never seen him in an actual game.
I'm not saying
We
Will
also-
Le-
That's fair.
He's
You
also on a
can't be
team
a
with no
bust if
talent.
you suck to begin with.
Well, here's the thing. You can't say he sucks when he has zero talent. On that team.
He wasn't that good in Kentucky.
He
I
was
wasn't
not.
impressed with him in
He
Kentucky.
did nothing.
Also, it's Kentucky. They're not a good football program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their football team might be
Yeah.
better than their basketball
Yeah,
team right
yeah,
now.
no.
But here's the thing. What if he goes to New York? You guys
He's
trade for
not
Will
going to
Levis.
the
You
Malik
guys
Willis
trade-
is awful.
No, I'm not talking about.
He is
I'm
awful.
not talking about Willis now. I'm talking
Who?
about Levin. Let's say you guys do somehow.
Well, Titans are going to
persuade-
trade a guy they just drafted in the
Let's say
second
you
round.
somehow persuade them to. move
I don't
off
want
him.
Will Levis.
I don't want Will Levis either.
You guys are at slim pickings. at
His
quarterback.
coffee probably
You're
tastes
looking at
better than
Carson Wentz,
His coffee
who
tastes better
hasn't
than
been
how good
great.
he sucks.
You're looking at Matt.
Won't you
Ryan,
pick up
who's
Will
starting
Levis
it.
then, Ashton? Why don't the
I'm-
Patriots pick him up?
We're looking for another guy in next year's draft. If not, we're picking up a veteran like Kyler Murray or Kirk Cousins. Those are the
I'm
two
okay
guys
with
we're talking
Kyler, actually.
I wouldn't mind Kyler in New England. And I know Justin, you're a huge guy in Kyler as well as a potential Jets quarterback, especially with the uncertainty around Aaron Rodgers. But let's get to the bigger thing, something that we've all been looking for.
No.
Jake, Sean Payton said some things over the offseason,
He did.
especially about your offensive coordinator, who's been a big question mark this season, obviously. He hasn't been great.
I don't want this to be like a Twitter post, Jake,
No,
please.
I promise I won't.
No, you're not. I don't trust you.
I
Jake,
promise.
I've been with you for 3.5 years, Jake. I don't trust you.
I promise I won't.
don't.
We can
I
always
promise.
cut him out. We can always just let him rant and cut it out. At the
I
end.
promise
Just
it
the
will-
worst case scenario.
It'll be intense, but it will not be any
All right.
portion
All
of
right,
the
let's
round.
go.
So,
All right, I'm going to have to
Sean-
sprint over there, but
What is Sean Payton's? Justin, if you want to slide over now,
Yeah.
I have the ISO. I have the ISO ready for the
you
point.
can just put him on the ice.
Take
so
the
happy
ISO
confidence.
and just
I don't
flip it
mind.
out, yo.
So your thoughts on Sean Payton now, especially as the way Broncos are going, and after what he said this offseason about Nathaniel Hackett and kind of what the New York Jets saying that they won the offseason, but they're not going to win anything. What are your thoughts?
All right, so before I get this started, let me just say this. I'm not the biggest fan of Nathaniel Hackett. I don't think he's a great offensive coordinator when he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers. And when I say this about Sean Payton, I mean no disrespect whatsoever. But shut up! Shut up, Sean Payton! You are a clown! You are a clown, okay? You are a clown! We're not paying players to injure your team, and you want to
Can you not spit on your mic?
Hall of Fame quarterback to run the Colts up. You are a skinnier Mike McCarthy. You suck. You know how you said the
Actually, I think this
Hackett Broncos
Yeah.
plan
Yeah, right,
last year?
right,
The Broncos are 32nd. You are a clown. You are worthless society. Worthless. You are.
Can you
pathetic.
please not bully the poor guy?
I'm sorry, but I mean all this.
Can you not say he's
about
worthless
Hall
to
of Fame
society?
coach.
That's like,
You are not a good coach.
please.
The Broncos
table
suck.
physically
They are
moved.
worse
I
than they were
know.
last year. You hear me? They are worse than they were last year.
Is he
Keep
possessed?
Nathaniel Hackett's name out of your mouth. You hear me? Keep his name out of your mouth. You
Okay,
are
Will Smith.
stupid.
Yeah.
Keep it out of your mouth,
Isn't
okay?
it Chris Rock?
You hear me, Sean Payton? I don't know if you're watching this, but you're a clown. You are not a good coach. You're the most overrated coach in the history of the National Football League. Absolute clown.
I will say this,
who's
Sean
got a
Payton's
big
still a
mouth.
Hall of Fame
And by
coach.
the way, you know how he
Same.
says that?
I was thinking on
he
that.
addressed it? No, he did not address it. Backtracking the next day, after Aaron Rodgers called your ass out. That is not addressing it. You are an idiot. You are a clown, not a good coach, and you are pathetic. An absolute loser. Absolute loser. How much do they pay this guy? Well, it's a lot. Way too much. Way too much. Because he is not a good coach. That team is screwed. Russell Wilson sucks. They can't run the ball. Their receivers are always injured. They can't block. They couldn't stop on a yield sign for crying out loud.
you don't
The
stop
thing
at
is
yield
that the-
signs, you slow down.
at
Well,
yield
they couldn't
sign.
slow down at one. They couldn't stop at a stop sign. They couldn't stop anything. They couldn't stop me from dropping my keys just now. Like, they suck. They are so bad. They are worse than they were last year. You cannot come out and say what you said and be even
I will
worse.
change
Like I
the
said, I'm not the
exact
biggest hat
result.
guy. He was an awful head coach. Probably one of the 10 worst hires ever. But Sean Payton might be even worse. If you're gonna talk some smack, you better back it up. And you
Always
didn't.
is.
Your ass can't cast a check, my
Always
guy.
is.
You are awful and you suck. And shut the hell up, you worthless clown.
All right, so that was just Jake's rant on Sean
Yeah.
Payton. I want to say this, and I will say this clearly, straight face. Sean Payton is a Hall of Fame coach. He deserves to be in a Hall of Fame coach. He's a great coach. This is not his team, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the time. This Denver Broncos team is not the team he built. This is the team that Nathaniel Hackett built. This is the team that was built prior to Nathaniel Hackett. Once I think he gets his guys in, he slowly moves his offense, his schemes, his defensive-minded schemes, like his defensive coaches that he wants to coach his team. I think they're gonna be good.
I mean,
I think it's gonna be next year.
he could always bring back Greg Williams and try to hurt the other team again. I mean, it seemed to work for him in New Orleans. That's what he needs to do to win, I guess.
But the thing is, those same teams were always good. They always just fell short. I think that was not just him. I think it was poor offensive play. Drew Brees in some of those playoffs games was not good. He did not look good at all. And I'm not blaming Sean Payton for what Drew Brees does out on the field. There's so much Sean Payton can do. It's like Russell
Also,
Wilson.
he had Drew Brees for 14 years and he went to one Super Bowl. He won it, but he went once in 14 years.
But so did
One
Mike
time.
McCarthy with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like, same thing I can say right
McCarthy's
here.
not a
I
good
can
head
say this
coach.
with a straight face. Are Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers overrated? Because they only
I
went to one
would-
Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers hasn't done
It depends, like, where you
Rodgers
rank.
choked in a lot of those NFC championships.
If you say
No, he
Rodgers and Brees are top
should.
3 and 4, then no. They're top 10 all time.
I think Drew Brees is top
Listen.
4 all time. Drew
He's
Brees
top-
is top
I would say
4.
top 6. He's top 6.
Because Drew Brees actually has the statistics to back
Oh,
up his
absolutely.
play.
Absolutely.
Where Rodgers doesn't. Rodgers, I do think, is a top 11, 10 quarterback in
He's top,
in
I'd say he's
NFL
top 10.
history.
He's top 10.
I think you put Drew Brees top 5 because he actually
I have Drew Brees over Rodgers, yeah.
he has an effect on the league. Drew Brees had an effect on the league where at one point you were talking Brady, Manning, and Brees as your top 3 quarterbacks in the league. Where we were talking Rodgers top 5, but we were only talking about talent. Like Rodgers had the talent, but he couldn't put that talent into winning Super Bowls. Yes, he won one, but was that solely just him, or was that because he had great defense and great playmakers around him? Brady's shown to win Super Bowls with his best receiver being a slot guy in Julian Edelman. Yes, Julian Edelman was a really good wide receiver and not discrediting anything Julian Edelman has done. Julian Edelman was great. He was phenomenal. You could put him as a target as a wide receiver 1. He also had, I think and I believe, the greatest tight end of all time in Rob Gronkowski, because I think him and Tony Gonzalez are 1A, 1B, and then Travis Kelce is 1C. I think they're all in that same category where there's no solely greatest tight end of all time, but I think you put Gronk because Gronk was so dominant from his rookie year to the day he retired the first time. Not the second time, not the 88th time, the first time. When he retired after the 2018 season, he was dominant in those 7 years. Yes, he did have some injuries that plagued his career, but there was stuff there that Brady could have done where if he had nobody, if someone was hurt, he could make that player look good.
Yeah.
Where Rodgers isn't elevating, where Drew Brees wasn't elevating because he always had that talent, except for the very last couple of years for Brees when Thomas kept like basically getting hurt and poor Brees went out there and thrown himself. And then you had Ben Roethlisberger, who was also out there, who I also think was slightly overrated because he could do nothing with those Pittsburgh teams. At one point, I think they had solely the greatest offense of all time.
Him, Bell, and Brown?
Yes, that was one of the greatest offenses we ever seen, and they
Absolutely.
did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Which is also why
And he didn't
I
even
will
go to
also
Super
say
Bowl.
this, and this is a very hot take I have. And before we end up getting into our firing squad segment, which I'll explain some new rules,
Well,
I'm going to say this straight.
I also have one more segment to
Oh, you
mention.
want to talk about NBA or college football?
No, I know. I'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to have everyone's take
Yes.
on this.
Before we go to the firing squad, I want to talk about the Packers. Real
That's
quick.
what I was gonna bring
Okay,
up.
he's gonna bring
That's
the-
what I was
we'll
gonna
talk
bring up. I
about
was
it
gonna bring up
before-
the Packers.
But
Yeah.
before we go to the Packers and talk about how they lost, I'm gonna say a statement, and I very solely believe in this take,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna have all your opinions on it, and obviously our fan base, once we get some, can comment on this take. I know Brandon will not be happy for what I'm about to say, and it's not directly about the Steelers being 3-2 and that they're the worst 3-2 team in the league. I solely believe Mike Tomlin is solely the most overrated coach
Really?
in the league right now. Yes, Sean Payton has not been good, and I can see the overrated statements about him, about the team. But I'm not blaming him. It's also his first year with a new team, still adjusting to that thing. But Mike Tomlin has not done really anything.
Mike Tomlin's also a Hall of Fame coach, though.
I'm not saying he's
Yeah,
not a Hall
he
of Fame
is.
coach. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the recognition of what he did in the past. But his teams have progressively gotten worse. And I'm at right now a rate of them winning 8 games this season, which is they'll be the first losing season since I forgot when.
No, Mike Tomlin would rather die before he lets a team lose, and
But
that
here's
to
the
me
thing.
is the issue.
And that's
with
why
Mike
I think
Tomlin.
he's overrated. This is where I solely think he's overrated. He doesn't have a good team. He doesn't have a quarterback. Yes, he has a great talent at wide receiver in George Pickens. Is he a top 10 receiver yet? No. He's basically almost at the level of Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's getting there. He's really good, right? You see all these guys, but he hasn't made the impact like that Justin
He has
Jefferson
not been around
has
long
made
enough
yet.
now.
Right? Justin Jefferson came in and made a spark in that
He was-
Vikings
yeah,
offense.
400
Right? Jamar
yards
Chase
first,
came
yeah.
in, made a spark to the offense. Garrett Wilson and George Pickens are kind of making that thing. Right? I think Mike Tomlin sees the talent. I just don't think he knows how to adjust into today's day and age. He and Belichick, I think, are the same. I think both right now are overrated. I think they are set in past times when they won games where Mike Tomlin won his Super Bowl in, what is it, 2010,
Something like
2011,
that.
around, no, or somewhere around there, 2009.
08 or something like
Yeah, it
that.
was somewhere around
I
there.
think the last one they won was against the Cardinals.
Yes, you're right, yeah.
It was against
Kurt
Larry Fitz.
It was
Warner, yeah.
2008.
Kurt Warner, yeah.
Which was his like first, second year there, which technically wasn't his team. He was just coaching. Was it Tony Dungy? Who was the coach prior to Mike
Cowher.
Cowher, Bill Cowher, right? And Bill Cowher was a great coach.
Absolutely.
And I'm not there's anything, but that was Bill Cowher's team. He just took over, right? Like Bill Belichick came into New England and made his team, right? And then he had his dominant 20 years, and now he's kind of falling down that cliff. And this year, he basically just fell that cliff off, right? But I solely believe Mike Tomlin is overrated now, and he will not make this team good unless he tanks. And I want your takes on this. Liam, I know this is not really your conference, but do you agree with my statement that Mike Tomlin is overrated because he will not do anything to help this team? They aren't in a retool mode. They're in a full-on, they need to go in a rebuild mode. Same with New England. New England did their retool. It didn't work. Now it's time to rebuild.
Oh yeah. So
Do they have to go into that?
Obviously, yes, they have to rebuild because they have no one. Their head coach isn't doing shit, or the person you mentioned isn't doing shit, helping out the team. They need a new coach. They need new players. They need to rebuild their whole team to have a shot of at least trying to make for playoffs this year.
Mhm.
With their comeback now and how they're playing, they're not gonna make it off. They'll probably be one of the top worst teams or second with the Jets.
Because, like, Jake, I know we've talked about bad offensive coordinator play because last year with Patricia, last year with you guys with Mike LaFleur, and Nathaniel Hackett hasn't looking great this year.
Okay, man.
And obviously, it's not really Nathaniel Hackett's fault because he was supposed to be here with Rodgers, and
Yeah.
he knows Rodgers, but obviously things happen. Do you agree with the statement I said that Mike Tomlin's overrated? And even though I know Steelers fans will rather blame Matt Canada before they blame Mike Tomlin, but I think at this point you have to go towards the head coach because this team hasn't done anything in years.
I do not believe he's overrated, but at the same time, I do believe there's a few things that are his fault. I think both can be true. I think he can still be an elite coach, but still be blamed for stuff, not be overrated. Why he keeps this dude Matt Cannon around, I don't know. I've said this. I think I may have said this on my show that I do on my own. Those two are either romantically together, or Matt Canada has just like
Blackmail.
has something on Mike Tomlin that if Tomlin lets them go, he's gonna just drop this bombshell at something Tomlin did. Like, it's one of the two. I don't know why he keeps the guy around. I'm not sure if you guys saw when I beat the Ravens. Matt Canada throws up a play because he's in the press box. Some of the OCs do that. The play he drew was probably a halfback dive up the middle, which made no sense, but it's Matt Canada. Kenny Pickett calls an audible and throws a game-winning touchdown to George Pickens, and everyone's going crazy, and Matt Canada's like, he looked like pissed off. Like I have a bunch of
But
pictures.
he's-
I have a bunch of images
was
of
that
Justin
play
on my
really
phone looking pissed
impressive,
off. Like
though?
he looked more pissed off than Justin does.
Was
in
that
those
really
pictures that you know about.
impressive though, because of how bad the secondary is in
No.
Baltimore? It's not like they're facing a good
But
secondary.
also, the dude, there's a minute 20 left in the game. You're losing. You know, Kenny Pickett, who I'm not a huge fan, but still, he makes a nice play. He audibles the call, makes a great throw to Pickens. Pickens makes a move, scores a touchdown. The stadium's going crazy. Pickett's going crazy. Pickens is going crazy. The sideline's going crazy. And Matt Canada looked like he wanted to jump out of that press box and just go splat. Like, can he show a little emotion? Like, that dude is awful. He's awful. Like, I don't know why he's keeping him around. So I do think that's on Tom for keeping the guy around.
So Justin, you heard my take about Matt. I think Mike Tomlin's overrated now. I think I kind of saw this for the last couple of years for the way he's handled this team and how he's built this team. What are your thoughts on my take?
On Mike Tomlin being overrated?
Yes.
I mean, I agree. I'm personally think I just want to look at in general how he's very much. I feel like the only reason why he hasn't been fired is because for some apparent reason the Steelers are the only football team who is satisfied with 9-8.
Mhm.
I mean that's just a fact. You can't be satisfied with just barely making the wild card or just barely not making it to the playoffs. At some point you need to show some signs of life. I do think there are some issues with tanking, but a lot of coaches do it. And the fact is that it's a strategy that's been used forever. And
Because you want to use an example, look at the Detroit Lions. They
Yeah,
got
look
their
at the-
quarterback and they just basically draft talent that they need. And
Yep,
then
pretty much.
Now look at them. Now they're a team that's winning the NFC North.
Yeah.
And kind of use that as a transition, as Justin wanted to mention about the Packers. We need to talk about.
Yeah,
Packers.
so let's
we
talk.
have a Packers.
Yeah,
fan.
so let me ask something. So I'm gonna ask you this Liam, because you watched
We
the
do have
Packers
Jordan
with
Love on the wheel.
yeah you
So-
you got the Packers
Just-
on me. So I don't want you to get into a rant about Jordan Love just in case you get him. But
I know.
Talk about the team itself.
so interesting.
Talk
So
about your coach.
can
talk
you
about the
think of
team.
any issue that was wrong with that team other than
Christian
than Jordan Love.
Watson, I can go and rant about. Stephen about Matt, I can go and rant about.
Go ahead.
but-
You could talk about whoever you want right now. I mean, this is your team. They
Alright.
lost to awful
I
Raiders
know.
team. You also lost to your former receiver in Devontae Adams. Max Crosby had a field day on the defensive line too. To me, underrated pick for defensive
my
player
God,
of the year.
yes.
By the way, he is fantastic.
Okay.
But take it away, Liam.
So
It's
I-
right on you, buddy. Right on camera 3.
Even though we lost Sunday, from
Monday.
one touchdown, from 17-13, I'm fucking pissed. One of them can contest. Aston, he can hear me in the fucking showers.
Yeah, I get out of the shower and I just hear him yelling at the TV. Solely, he is combusting in the living room. Granted, my shower where we're living
It's
is right next to the living room. And
But-
in our room's right next door. And I come out of the shower, I turn off the thing, and next thing I hear him yelling. I'm like, oh God, something just happened.
So, I know I shouldn't be talking about Love, but I want to talk about these two plays. One of them is not completely Love's fault. One of them is fucking Christian
Watson.
Watson's one of my wide receivers. He fucking tipped the damn ball and caused that to be a pick. I'm fucking pissed about that.
He's right. That was not his fault, that pick. I saw that.
No, that was not Love's fault. That was all Watson. He tipped it over, and the Raiders caught that. The other one with Watson, I can somewhat blame Love on it, but I'm putting most of the blame on Watson when he was in the end zone. I don't know why. For the fact he stayed behind the Raiders, defensive players, and that also caused another pick. That's the end of the game. And that was the play I fucking needed to win the game too in the fourth quarter. And I don't know what we were doing. And of course, Matt, again, with the bad clock management in the fourth quarter. It's always in the fourth
He does
quarter.
not have good clock
It's
management
not
at
good.
all.
It's
No,
not
he
good.
can't.
He does not. I have never seen a guy who calls a timeout like 4.5 minutes left in the game when the 2-minute warning gives you the timeout.
I don't know. Like, dude, what the fuck? Just let it go down to a 2 minute warning. You get free timeout. Then after that, you base on your timeouts how you want to play the game. Especially when I know we needed the touchdown to beat the game. Even with a field goal, we'll still be down by 1. If somehow we get the field goal, we'll
Yeah,
still
I
be
have
down by
never in
1.
my life seen a moment where Matt LaFleur, where Josh McDaniels actually outcoached somebody.
I
That
know.
was amazing to me.
And of course,
Never in my life I seen that.
And of course, we lost against Raiders, but also Devontae Adams didn't get that much playing time. No, he had the play time. He
Not
didn't
many
get that many
targets.
touches with the ball.
So that hurt your fantasy team, right?
Actually, no.
Would he have gotten more touches on the Packers?
Yeah, would he have gotten more touches if he stayed?
He might have.
He might have. He would have been your best receiver.
no,
Who would have been
no,
Romeo
He is
Dupes?
single-handedly probably your greatest
No, he
receiver.
would be my greatest receiver. We'll put Christian out to two, but he'll be definitely my greatest receiver. I know Adams, Devontae Adams on my fantasy team. That did not hurt me
I'm
towards
having fun.
winning this past week
I
for
feel on
fantasy,
fire.
since I was ready 140 to 111. But that hurt me trying to go for top 2 in points against Ashton
Let's go.
with him with a 180.
All right, so the kind of transition from what we were just
But now we're
talking
going
about.
from the Packers back to Ashton. Now we're going to go into the firing squad.
So we
segment.
had a segment in our first episode called the Firing Squad, which then we ended up actually making our podcast name.
Yeah.
So we have a new change to segment name for this segment as well. We are calling it Raging Roulette, where we
Okay.
each have a minute on a wheel with certain topics, certain players, certain events that have happened over the course of this weekend or
I'm
this
playing
week.
for love.
And we have a 1 minute to rant, but there is a twist.
Can I say the twist?
I got the twist.
Okay.
He's the host. He's got the twist.
The twist
He
is
twists.
you can pass on that topic you get. So if I got Tom Brady, but I didn't want to rant about Tom Brady because there's another topic I really wanted to talk about, and I passed it on to Jake. Jake would rant about Tom Brady for a minute, but I would go next and spin the wheel, and if I get that topic I wanted or another topic, I have to take that rant and rant for 2 minutes instead. So we'll spin this wheel. Whoever goes first will get that topic, get the option to trade it and send it off to someone else or take it on for themselves.
Also,
So,
just one thing I need to mention: you can't pass to somebody who already went.
yes.
Mhm.
So that will be a rule. So who has not gone, and if you are the last person, you cannot pass that. So if I'm last and I get, I don't know,
The Bruins.
The Bruins. I have to rant about the Bruins. I am a Bruins fan, but that is not one of the topics sadly on this. But we can talk. Like that would be an example. I would have to rant about that team or whatever player, whatever event. So if
You know,
the helmet catch was one, I would have to
Or-
rant about that. But to get who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Justin's
Yes.
going
No.
first.
I'm gonna make myself a little bit bigger here by the mini screen, so you're gonna be saturated with me.
All right.
I ju-
Your pick
I just tried to point to Justin.
is Micah Parsons' comments on George Kittle's T-shirt. Do you want to pass it or do you want to take this on yourself?
On George Kittle's T-shirt,
But
wasn't
Micah
it?
Parsons' comments about the T-shirt saying
on his
that
podcast?
like to kind of watch out. Do you want what he said? I can get what.
You
he
know
said.
what? You know what? I'm gonna just because it's the new segment, I'm gonna pass it,
Who you
and I'm
got?
gonna pass it over to you, Ashton.
Oh.
I'm passing it off to you.
So
Okay,
let me
Ashton.
get the response because
Here, let me time you.
yes.
Okay, here.
Just give me a second. All right, good when you're ready.
3, 2, 1.
Micah Parsons, what are you doing? You just lost very harshly on national television to the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, the shirt that George Kittle wore was inappropriate, and the NFL has fined him for wearing that. But you have no right to talk when you get blown out like that. And also, the teams that you've beaten are very poor teams. New England, You even lost to the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, they have been playing well, but you lost to the Arizona Cardinals. There's a lot more to talk about your own team than talking about another team. Worry about yourselves prior to talking about another team like the San Francisco 49ers, who are currently way better. They're on a tier way above you. They are here. You are here. You looked worse. You looked worse than the week prior when you blew out New England. Like, you went from blowing out a team to losing in a blowout fashion to Brock Purdy and George Kittle. George Kittle was part of the team that blew you out, and he wore an F Dallas t-shirt. Yes, that was inappropriate, but you have no right to talk when your team gets blown out on national television.
Wow, that's literally time. So perfect timing. All right, so
since I went on that, I don't go again, right?
No, you don't go
no.
again. But
'Cause that's
so
mine.
the choices, I guess. So I guess the way we could do this is maybe I go last because
Yeah,
I
no.
passed.
I think you have to go now.
Okay,
You-
fine. I'll go now.
You'll get the choice of the next one, which is, let's see if it's a topic he wants to talk about. You are getting Mac Jones, the
All
New England
right.
Patriots
There we
quarterback.
go.
All right.
So he's got to go for 2 minutes, right?
2 minutes.
All right, Justin, whenever you're ready.
Oh my God.
3.
Wait. That's on Mac Jones, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on Mac Jones.
Yep.
Okay. Let me get closer to the camera here. Let me just take a look. I'm in. All right.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
5,
I was born ready.
4, 3, 2, 1. All hands on you.
Mac. Mackenzie S. Jones. What the fuck happened? You were picked 10th overall out of Alabama. I thought a Saban run quarterback was supposed to be good. I thought they were supposed to be good. What are you supposed to be, the next Tom Brady? You are horrible, man. You are absolutely horrible. I can't read. I look at a book and I can't read. But I'm telling you right now, I can read a defense better than you, Mac. I really can. You had one good year. One. That doesn't make you good. That makes you fucking Fred VanVleet. You are not that good, Mac. Really, I wanted you at the Jets at one point. I wanted you to play for my team because I couldn't stand Zach Wilson. I couldn't stand him. But you know what? I was wrong. You are absolutely terrible. Bailey Zappi is better than you. I am better than you. I have not lost a single game in my NFL career. And that is simply a fact. That is no one in this podcast suite has lost a single NFL game. I have not thrown a single NFL pick. At the end of the day, Mac, you can blame everyone else on the team, but to put it simply, it's your fault. It is absolutely your fault. And you know what? I'm gonna say this too. Ashton took a picture of you. You put it to shame. You put it absolutely to shame. He took a picture with you. I want to print it. And I want to burn it. Really, I want it to be used as firewood. I want your jersey as firewood. Really, I want you cut. I want you traded. Get off this Patriots team, please. How much more time I got?
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. All right. Bailey Zappi's the GOAT. You are not. Your jersey is mid, and the Big Mac is better than Mac Jones.
Time's up.
And that's time.
Oh my God, that's harder than it looks.
That was fantastic.
That's harder than it looks.
That was pretty good.
Who's going next?
Liam?
Liam, you're going next. You are getting... You're getting the Patriots owner, Robert Kraft.
Pass or play?
You're passing it or are you playing?
Who is she?
He's the Patriots owner.
Fuck, I can know everything about your GM.
All
He's
right.
your owner. He's the owner.
He's the owner
He's
of my
also
team.
kind of GM.
You're on camera 3, Liam.
All right,
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
So, Robert, what the fuck are you doing with the Patriots now? You didn't fucking fired Bill Belichick. Get yourself a new fucking GM for this shit that can help your ass. Please, for the love of God, get fucking Matt Jones off the team and get yourself a brand new quarterback. Fire Juju. For the love of fucking God, Juju fucking sucks. Get yourself a brand new wide receiver. I don't give a fuck.
It's gonna be Devontae Adams.
Nah, I want Adams back on the Packers. But
Bring it to New England.
get yourself a fucking new wide receiver and fix your fucking offense. The defense is great, but fix your fucking offense. For the love of God, stop playing the defense 24/7. Okay, what the fuck? And please, if we're going for a new wide receiver, either trade, just fucking trade. That's it. I don't give a fuck what you do. Just get a new receiver. Thank the fucking Lord.
All right, Jake, you are up.
Yep.
Are you ready?
As ready as I'll be. I mean, I already got a little. I had a little practice session with Sean Payton earlier.
All right,
So,
I'll get the timer up for you.
Justin, please lower Jake's mic.
You will be.
Please lower Jake's mic.
Maybe.
Why just put it up on your
Maybe. I want to see where this is going.
This one won't be as.
You will be getting Mikey Williams.
Oh God!
Who just
Oh,
ruined
no.
his NBA
Oh,
dream.
no.
This is like the worst. one
Oh
for me.
no! Can you please contextualize real quick for
Alright.
the people?
So, for you don't know
Oh,
what just happened to Mikey
no.
Williams. Mikey Williams was a high-profile high school kid, and he had a bright future. Probably was going to make the NBA as a top pick in the draft. And today we find out he's facing 6 felony gun charges that could face him up to 28 years in prison. So your rant is going to be more about towards him. It's going to have to be more directed towards him and his life choices, as he did just make a very, very poor choice in his life. Jake, when you are ready, you can hit the start and go.
All right, Mikey, what are you doing? You were so talented. You were a high school star. Every high school kid could have dreamed to be in the place you were, and you threw it all away because you had to be a dumbass. What are you doing? You, John Morant, and Miles Bridges are gonna be in what's the movie with Adam Sandler again?
The longest yard.
The Longest Yard. Y'all are gonna star in the sequel that are gonna be the third one.
But it's
What, the
basketball
longest
related
gone?
instead of
They did.
football.
They're gonna make a basketball-related movie. What are you doing? I don't understand some of these young people and how stupid they are. They just choose to make stupid decisions. Why? It's so ridiculous, so dumb. Put it away, dude. And now your life is over. You're never getting a chance to play basketball professionally. Your life is over. You are a bum. Come on, man. Give me a break. Ugh.
There you go, Jake. Before I do end this podcast, I do want to say one thing. Before I end it, is I want to send my thoughts and prayers, and we all do send our thoughts and prayers to Israel, as what is going on is horrible.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping this war will end.
Very soon, yeah.
This stuff, and same with
Was it-
Ukraine.
Real quick,
Yes.
before we end this, I have a surprise segment I want to talk about.
Oh, that's a
Ooh.
segment.
Real quick, and I should have put this down for Rage Roulette. So there is a Philadelphia 76ers beat writer that was newly hired, and he got fired. And so the 76ers, they tweet out a post saying, we stand with Israel. And he responds to that tweet, and he says the following. He says this: "This post sucks. Stand with Palestine always."
Idiot.
And he just got fired. So does anyone have a quick 1-2 minute thought about that?
I can't flip off the camera, but you to the reporter. Well,
Like, why would-
what a bum.
His name is Jackson Frank.
Yes, Jackson Frank.
And
Screw
honestly,
you,
they were
Jackson.
trying. The Sixers were trying to do something good. They're trying to send out their thoughts and prayers, like all of us are, and like we just did. You cannot comment that. I even seen stuff
cannot.
about the
And
Giants.
his career's over now.
I've seen Giants fans tweet about it too. Like they were going at their team for doing the same thing. This post sucks. Like, no, Frank, like you don't say that. They're saying condolences to some tragedy that's happening across the thing. This is why you don't have a job. You will never get another
Oh, his
job.
career's
You
over.
are done. You'll
Well,
be
he's now
working
doing
at-
like exclusive NBA articles on Patreon or something, and people are supporting him for it. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, I'm not spending $10 a month
I will
for
find
you
a
for
way.
you to regurgitate shit that the other 76ers beat writer that just took your spot is gonna write.
Exactly.
Like I may go on and report him on there because he doesn't deserve to write after what he just did. Like, go have fun. Go work at McDonald's or Burger King because that's pretty much where you're getting a job.
Okay, Evan Neal. No,
Yes.
and here's the one thing I want to bring up, and this is like the most political we'll ever get on the show ever.
Absolutely.
There is freedom of speech in this country, and that's a
Yes.
big right that everyone needs to appreciate. But when it comes to freedom of speech, there's also freedom of consequences.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're gonna say stuff like that, and not only that, you're gonna respond to the Twitter account of the company that hired you, and you get fired, well, that's what it is, man. Freedom of consequences.
So, before you end,
Yes.
can I say something about NHL that's coming up?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, these are the games I'm being biased about because I'm a Devils fan.
Mhm.
Wait, we're talking about the Devils. Let me go in there. Let me get in there.
Oh, Justin's coming in this room. Never
you
close this
cannot.
thing out.
You cannot report on Patreon.
That's tough. Oh, hi, Justin.
So,
What's up?
This is Justin. If you did not
Does
see him from
everybody
the
like my
screen.
new mustache?
okay.
Justin, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so the
It's
thing is
beautiful.
I promised my mom I'd actually shave this. Yeah, I promised her I'd shave this on Tuesday. That has not happened. It's Thursday.
Of course it's not. Okay, so, because I'm made biased, since I'm a Devils fan, these are the games we should be watching out for. Of course, the actual season for NHL starts today. So we got the Red Wings versus Devils tonight at 7:30 p.m. Then another game I'm watching out for is Friday, October 20th, 7:30
Ooh.
p.m. Devils and Islanders.
Devils Islanders. Ooh, I'm also looking on Monday. Panthers Devils. That's gonna be good
No,
as
that's
well.
been another fun
Former
game.
the Stanley Cup runner ups. That's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
a really fun
Oh,
game as well.
here's another one. That's times got down the line. I'm probably gonna mention it again when the actual game comes
Oh,
closer.
I know what you're talking about.
November 18th, Devils Rangers.
Ooh.
Devils
Oh,
Rangers.
Is that the first time they're playing each other?
Yes, and
that
it's gonna
seems a
be
little
it's gonna
late.
be a home game for the Devils.
Oh yeah.
It's going
Seems a
out.
little
It's at
late.
Prudential.
I'm surprised it's not
So,
sooner, to be honest.
Even though preseason games does not count towards the actual record, but looking at this year's preseason games for the Devils, of course, times it can still change during the actual season since the actual season's just starting today. The Devils won all their preseason games.
I mean, look, as a Devil fan, I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
But the fact is, like, that's good. But also, if that was the case in the Ravens being undefeated for
I know.
25 straight games in the preseason means nothing.
Oh, that's
Also,
not-
the Lions
No,
going
listen.
4-0
So, yeah,
in
the Lions
2006
going
Yeah, going on
and
16.
That's
going
what
on
I'm
16.
saying. Stuff can still happen during the game, throughout the season.
Yeah,
Because if you really think about
Preseason-
in that statement, the Bruins
preseason-
just won their first regular season game last night. They're on pace to going 8-2-0.
I know.
So
Yeah, preseason is kind of a joke.
It is.
But I don't know.
Someone gives you a guide on
It does give you a
what
little
the
bit-
team
it's,
is
it's-
it's
heading.
there for the players to get warmed up. But
Or it's there for the
yeah.
players who, like, barely scraped onto the team and
The
won a
rookies,
contract.
Mhm.
The undrafted guys.
Yeah.
Like, basically, aka half of the Miami Heat roster.
Yeah.
So, any guys have anything to talk about? No, I think we're good.
I think that's it.
So that's
Alright.
gonna be all for this
So,
week's podcast.
go back to the control
I'm
link to
Ashton,
figure this out.
Justin,
We can
this is
do it in
Liam,
post.
Oh, yeah.
and Jake.
Yeah, follow us on our Instagram
yep,
at the
and-
Firing Squad.
We'll also be creating a TikTok and it'll also be called the Firing Squad as well.
Same as Instagram too.
Yep, they're both be the same thing. So
Yep, we will put my mustache on a T-shirt in 2 months.
Yes.
warning: if you want to see that and want to
Yeah.
get that, please put that in our comments.
All right,
All right, we're good.
All right.
All right, see you guys.
Good.
Peace, boys.
Bye.
Peace.